How to cook a brisket in under 8 minutes. Well, the actual cooking part is going to take a bit longer than 8 minutes, but with this video, you can learn everything you need to know on how to smoke a brisket in under 8 minutes. And doesn't that look good? Every cooking video should have pictures of the final product at the beginning so you can decide if you want to watch or not. So continue on watching if this looks good. Today we're going to be cooking a brisket. Low and slow. Be about 12 hours or so, but I'll explain more about that later. This is the underside of it, and I want you to note how the grain runs here. And one little trick that I usually do, because once you get this cooked and it's all crusted up, you're going to have a hard time remembering which way the grain is going. So I like to make a couple of slits, and you'll see this after the cook is done. You'll be able to look at the underside and see that the grain is running this way, at least through the flat. There's a little bit, well, this is actually not bad, but I will trim some of this off. Some of this extra stuff, well, that's not even fastened. I would do it, but I do like some of the spices in this Creole seasoning. And by the way, I did wash my hands. Okay, got the hands washed. I'm going to season up this side. And again, you can be pretty generous with it. Okay, so I got the brisket placed on a rack. I always put the thick end, the point towards the hotter end of your smoker. Firebox is right here. So this end is hotter. I've got drip pans here that I keep water in. I also put some Better Than bouillon in there to give that a beefy flavor more. But you got to be sure to keep water in here all throughout the cook. It's very important. You don't want this drying out. You want to smoke it in a moist environment. And you will have to keep adding water. When I add water, I like to add hot water. Otherwise you're cooling everything down and it takes a while to catch back up. Okay, here's what we're looking like midday. I suppose it's about 6 hours since I started. I just got done adding some hot water to the drip pans. I've been maintaining about 210 degrees thereabouts. This smoker has a difficult time maintaining 225. I have to really babysit it to do that, and I don't have the time to do that, so it's just going to mean a little longer cook is all. No big deal. So we're about 10 hours into the cook, and this is what we're looking like. And it looks fantastic. It's been a little bit beyond 12 hours here. It's not quite up to temperature. The temperature we're looking for is 200 degrees. And mainly this is taking so long because I was not able to maintain 225 degrees in the smoking chamber. So what I'm going to do is, I got plenty of water. If that was low, I would be adding more. I'll stoke the fire and add some coals and damp things down and just let it run over the night. And that's what I'm going to do. But it is looking just absolutely beautiful. Okay, it is now the next morning. Before I went to bed last night, I put some coals in, damp things down, and just let her sit all night. One advantage to that is that I can now handle the juice without burning myself. Doesn't that look good? So we're ready to start slicing this bad boy. Let's see if we can tell where our cuts are that we made yesterday. And you can see these two cuts here. That's telling us that the grain is running this way. So we're going to cut across that way. I'm going to actually spin this. The most flavorful part of the brisket is the point here. Some people will actually go through and separate that from the flat. I usually just cut it all together. But this is the best stuff there. So I was cutting it this way across the grain. I decided to make a slice here so that my pieces don't get so long. But I wanted you to get a good look at how juicy that is. This is getting into the point here, and it is good and tender and juicy. But I'll continue cutting this direction. Isn't that gorgeous? Here I've got the water from the cook, from the dripping pans in glass jars. I'm going to stick those in the refrigerator, and all the grease will rise to the top, and then when it's cold you can just pick it out of there with a spoon or a fork or something. And I'll save that because I like frying eggs or frying burgers in that grease, that beef fat. And then once I pick most of the fat out, I'll use this for the base for making some au jus, dipping juice for brisket sandwiches.